For this pattern, we're going to be using the Red Heart Armore Yarn. It is a medium number 4 weight. Suggested hook size is an I. We are going to be working the Baby Bear Beanie pattern in H 5.0 millimeter hook. Let's talk about this yarn. It is a very soft yarn from Red Heart. However, it is more of a light yarn, so it is a medium number 4 weight, but I feel like it's between a 3 and a 4. So if you are using a different yarn for this pattern, you may notice that it comes out a little bigger or smaller depending on which yarn you choose. So I really suggest to work up a gauge swatch or look on yarnsub.com to see if there is a comparable yarn that is something that you have more available to you. So we're going to be working a magic ring. So start off by a circle, grab the yarn, chain 1, place 8 half double crochets in the ring, so for a magic ring, you want to pull the strand tight to close that circle. So pull it tight all the way. And for the Baby Bear Beanie, we are going to work in a spiral. And so you will not be joining to the first stitch. So we're going to use a stitch marker to mark the last stitch of each row. So just place your stitch marker through that last stitch. After you have placed your stitch marker, you'll be working 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. So go into that first half double crochet. 1, 2, and place 2 in each stitch around. So 3, 4. I always count my stitches as I go. 5, 6, 13, 14, and this is the last stitch where I place that stitch marker, to 15, 16. So we're working in a spiral, so remove the stitch marker and move it to the next one. So this is the last stitch of round 2 that I'm placing my stitch marker in. We're going to continue to round 3, and I'm working over this tail as I go, as you can see. We're going to place 1 half double crochet here, 2 in this next one. So 1, 2 half double crochets in that stitch, 1, then 2, 1, and then 2 in this one. So basically repeating this sequence all the way around where it's 1 half double crochet and then 2 half double crochets. And then just a couple stitches left. So we're adding 8 each round, 8, 16, there should be 24 on round 3. Moving on to round 4. Place 1 half double crochet here, 1 half double crochet in the next one, 2 half double crochets. So repeating this sequence around of 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets. 1, 1, 2. I start out most of my hats this way. I like using a half double crochet for hats. I start out most of them that are worked from the top down in the round using 8 stitch count. Seems to work out the best from my experience. So we're on the last run of repeat 1, 2, so as you can see, the increase, which is the 2 half double crochets, are kind of lining up with the ones from the previous row. So we're going to move on to round 5. Round 4 completed 32 stitches. So 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and 2. So there's that increase. So 1, 1, 1, and then the 2 to increase. So anytime you increase a stitch, that means you're placing 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So there's the 2 right here to increase. 1, we are making the newborn size here. The pattern also comes with written instructions for a preemie size. You can also use this video just for a regular hat. 1, 2, increase. 1, 1, 1, and increase. We're back to that stitch marker. So this just works in a spiral. Stitch markers moving to mark each round. We are ready for round 6, which is the last round of increases. So we should be ending with 48 stitches for this newborn hat. So place 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1, 1, and then 2. See, that's the increase. 1, 1. So you're gonna place 1, 1, 1, and then 2 half double crochets. So place 1, 1, 1. So keep working this all the way around. And you're increasing. Oh. Increase right here. And then increase here with a 2. So this is basically just making the circle wider. So as you can see, we've increased for our 6 rounds. So it makes the top of the hat wider. And then we're going to just half double crochet around for several rows to make it where it's not getting wider anymore. So continue to move your stitch marker, work your half double crochets around. We will end with, I think it's 11 rows for the newborn size. Let me double check that one. 12 rows. So continue just half double crocheting around, moving your stitch marker until you've reached 11 rounds, and then you join, and then you make the 12th round. And then we will work these post stitches to get this nice textured look at the bottom. I like these post stitches because it gives a stretch. So continue just half double crocheting around until you reach round 11. I am going to continue working this here, and then I will stop the video and pick it back up when I am completed with round 11. Okay, I have finished round 11. So from here, we are going to take out the stitch marker, join to this first stitch, pull the join tight, chain 1, and then half double crochet around for round 12. So this round 12 is done just placing half double crochets in each stitch around. And then for round 13, you start doing these post stitches that gives it this nice texture that stretches. So continue to do round 12. This is work the half double crochet in each stitch around, and then we will work round 13 together. So I'm going to stop the camera here and finish my round 12. I just finished round 12. So since the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, you want to skip over the chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet. So it's a join there, pull the slip stitch tight, and then for round 13 we're going to start the post stitches. So chain 1, and then to place a post stitch you don't go into the top of the stitch, you go around the stitch. So this is a front post half double crochet, and then front post or back post half double crochet. So we're going to repeat that around. Front post half double crochet, back post half double crochet. So the post stitches are made around the stitch and not into the top of the stitch. Front post, back post. And just keep doing that all the way around rows 13, 14, and 15. So front post, back post. Front post, back post. That's where it gives it that nice texture and stretch. So keep working front post and back post all the way around for rows 13, 14, and 15. Okay, I finished round 13 and I decided I wanted to show you how to join and start the new round. So I just did the back post in the last stitch. You want to skip over that chain and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. Pull that tight. Pulling the slip stitch tight just kind of conceals that join a little bit, makes it more hidden. Chain 1. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch in this pattern. Front post around the stitch. And then the back post around the next stitch. So the front post stitches and the back post stitches line up. So do these post stitches for rows, we're on row 14 now, but we'll do them for rows 13, 14, and 15. Then you can finish off after you join on round 15. Weave in your ends and then we'll continue on to working the bear ear. So keep working that, and I will see you for the ear. I have finished with round 15 of the newborn size. I joined with a slip stitch and cut my tail. So now we are ready to make the ears, and I've already made one ear here, so you can see it's worked in like a half round back and forth rows. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start out with a magic ring like we did on the hat. Chain 1, single crochet 7 times, and I apologize for the lighting. We are in direct sunlight right now, so it's very bright. Go ahead and pull that ring tight. So we have 7 in that ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not going to join because it's a half circle. So chain 1 and turn, or you can turn and chain 1. I do prefer to go ahead and crochet over this tail. That way it gets it weaved in. You're going to single crochet in that first stitch, 2 single crochets in the next, and it looks like 2 single crochets in the next 5 stitches. So that one is 1, 2 single crochets here, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, and this is the last stitch of the 5, so place 2 single crochets here, 1 single crochet in the last, chain 1, turn for round 3. So that placed 12 single crochets in row 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Always good to count your stitches at the end of each row around. So chain 1, single crochet in this first stitch, single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next, and it says to repeat that sequence of 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. When you place 2 single crochets in a stitch or 2 stitches in 1 stitch, that is an increase. 1, 2. Let me just double check that. So 1, 1, 2. And then single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, and then for round 4 you just single crochet across. So 1, okay, I am ready to start round 3. Round 2 ended with 12 stitches, so round 3 you single crochet in this first stitch, single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2, and then you want 1 single crochet in this last stitch here. Chain 1, turn. For round 4 through 6, you just chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch around. Should be 17 stitches. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's our 17. So you notice that it will start to curl because we're not increasing any longer. So increasing makes it bigger. When you don't increase, it starts to curl forward. And this ear goes for 6 rounds. So we're on round 5 right now. We're just single crocheting in each stitch around. Last round, single crochet in each stitch. Alright, now you want to take and cut off a long tail because you're going to sew this on to the hat. So pull that all the way through, pull that tight. So here's where stitch markers can come in handy. Let me get this lined up. So and you could really just take and cut this tail. I crocheted over it, so no need to really weave in the ends on it. So you can always take and place your ears where you want them to go. So, can't really see on video, but I'm just gonna do the best I can. So, I'm just gonna take it straight through the center. So basically you want this sewn a little bit forward and that back there. So you're going to come forward on sewing there. Let me grab a couple more stitch markers. That way they're in place where I want them to go. Something like that. That way. And let me go ahead and grab a needle and start sewing this on. Okay. So like I said, these ends are going to come forward a little bit. So I'm going to sew this to right here. Can you see them? Let's see. So just doing like a whip stitch, which is where you sew two pieces together. And then see, there's where my stitch marker is. Not quite lined up with the center. Let me go on this next one. And right there, we're in the stitch marker, so let me go ahead and take that out. I'm just going to go through that middle. You can also use like pins, like sewing pins to hold this in place while you sew it. I see that done with amigurumi a lot, where people use pins that are used for sewing to hold pieces on. Somehow I've got like a knot or something. Let's try this over and see what it's looking like. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the placement. So just keep sewing along. Somehow I kind of messed that up there. I think I'm just going to take and tuck that over to the side, that little strand, and sew around it so you can't see it. Because somehow I tore something whenever it got stuck. So, all right. So now you want it to kind of curve in. So I'm going to take the stitch marker out. And I will tell you, when you're sewing pieces on a crochet item, it's never going to look perfect, and that's okay. That's why it's handmade. Handmade's not perfect by any means. We all do things a little differently, and so that's what makes it unique. So there is one ear on there. I'm going to just kind of go over this end one more time. And then what I like to do is take it through the center. So I'm going to put my needle straight through there, take it to the inside of the hat. For some reason, I'm really struggling with knots in this. I've never had to go through that before. But so I went through the center and then just turn it inside out. And I just kind of like to weave in just those ends just a little bit. So I'm basically going along the inside of the hat, weaving in a few ends, maybe going back and forth. I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, and then go ahead and cut that. I don't typically knot, I just weave in and out a few times. And then there's the first ear. So that is completed. We can go ahead and move on to the second ear. We want to do the same steps where we use our stitch markers. And I prefer to start at the top, so this can be turned either way. So I prefer to start my sewing up here instead of the bottom up, just because I've noticed that when I start down here, I get them off-centered. So I prefer to just start at the top. So I just flip my ear in. And I'll look at this, make sure it lines up. Kind of if you look at the rows over here, that helps. Of course, you want to fold in some, so. But like I said, it's never going to be perfect, so don't even stress about it. And then we're going to repeat that same step of sewing it on with a whip stitch as we did for that first ear. And I will see you back when we're done. Okay, I have finished my bear hat. Here it is. This is the newborn size. It also comes in a preemie size. It's got a nice stretch here. We can measure it. It should measure about 12. So 6 inches across equals 12 inches around for a head size by about 5 inches. So it is perfect size for a newborn. The preemie is about 11 inches around by 4.5 inches. So it is perfect for a newborn or a preemie. You can make this in any color, and you can also make it with any yarn. I just would suggest to adjust your hook size. So the pattern comes with a gauge. Gauge meaning how many rows and stitches you get per 4-inch. So check out your gauge first. You might need to adjust your hook size, or check out yarnsub.com to find a yarn that's comparable to Red Heart Armore. So check out more of my videos on Crochet It Creations YouTube channel, and crochetitcreations.com has plenty of free patterns. Please subscribe, and I would love to hear your feedback. Talk to you soon.